LeBron even has appreciated this much about himself. As much as we can dissect and be critical of the game in the moment as we watch stuff, it's very little you have an excuse to say about him, because when you ask him a question, to point to Wilbon's point, he will answer and explain to you what it is. And so what happens is that he's one of those rare athletes that literally have a justification.
He is the NBA's all-time leading scorer and one of the principal figures in the new Hulu documentary series, Legacy, the true story of the LA Lakers. Kareem, it's great to have you with us. Big picture, 30,000 feet, what do you want viewers to take away from this series?
Well, I hope they will get an accurate idea of what the Lakers were actually about. It'll show people the struggles that we had, some of our joys and some of our disappointments. And I learned certain things about my teammates, things that they were going through that I was not aware of. There were certain things that I just had no idea about.
In 1980, this is one story that really fascinated me. When Magic Johnson plays center after you were injured in the NBA Finals, he wins the MVP. And there was some discussion about whether or not he deserved it because he played one game and you had been outstanding through most of that series. That when the team got back to Los Angeles and you met up with him, he actually tried to give you the trophy. What was the ensuing conversation? What was the ensuing conversation like?
I said, I think I deserve it. Of course. But, I knew that if we went through a back and forth, even though, I wasn't worried about that. We won the world championship. I was happy. But, if the public got a hold of that, they would take it the wrong way. And that wasn't the case, man. I was so happy to see him step off the plane with 2 trophies. That's fine with me, with some polish on it,
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the current Lakers. LeBron James agreed to an extension with the team that will likely lead to him breaking the NBA's all-time scoring record in the Lakers uniform. There's a lot there for you, involving you. What are your thoughts on that in general?
Well, if LeBron breaks the record, and it looks like he has every reason to break it, I'll be very happy for him. The game always improves when records like that are broken. So LeBron should enjoy his achievement. He's worked very hard to get this far. And for him, he'll get to wait and see who might be lucky enough to break his record, if that's going to happen. It's always about passing it on to the next guy in line.
Will it be important to you to be there personally to pass that torch?
Well, if I'm still around, of course. It's only 2 years. I haven't gotten that decrepit yet, so I'll try and make it by the game and be there to cheer him on. He certainly deserves every accolade that's out there for him.
We recently lost another NBA icon and a man who shared your passion for social justice off the court in Bill Russell. How did his passing affect you?
Bill's passing made me very sad. He absolutely was a mentor and an example for me. Some of the things that he endured and triumphed over really made me able to have good things happen in my basketball career and in my life, and in my awareness for social justice. All of those things can be traced in some way to my connection with Bill Russell. He was that much of an example for me.
You also have another project for which you're nominated for an Emmy Award. You're the narrator for Black Patriots, Heroes of the Civil War. When you were approached about doing that, about participating in it, what resonated with that project for you?
Well, the whole idea of telling the rest of the nation what the contributions of Black Americans were to what America has become. The greatness of America is in many ways a gift of Black Americans to America. And being able to explain that really makes me proud. It makes me able to look upon my own place here in America with pride and a feeling of accomplishment. And that's something that we all need coming from all directions.
I know you were painfully shy as a youngster, but that evolved into a commanding voice, a voice that resonates, that makes people stop and listen. How did that metamorphosis occur for you?
Well, I think we just need to understand who I am, and when I reach that understanding, share that understanding with people who need to know about it. We all need to know who we are. And for Black Americans, that's only, for many of them, a recent experience as to what we've given to this great country. We've contributed a lot to the things that make this country great, but we're not always aware of it. So that's changing. And the faster that change occurs and the more accurate it is, the better off we are.
LeBron surpassing Kareem Abdul Jabbar. People will talk about all of the different accomplishments that he has. This will be one of the most significant for sure.
Well, it will end the debate for the fools out there who questioned whether or not he ever deserved to be on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. You won't debate that much longer. You understand the greatness of him. He's a four-time champ, four-time league MVP. You know, he's done what he's done. He's been the marquee. He's answered the call on a year-in, year-out basis.
His greatness, and he talks about it with Dave McMenamin, and we will hear more about it. He's so well-rounded. Mm-hmm. I mean, he has done so much in the game. And even, by the way, that interview, we hang on. Most people ain't saying nothing during these things. LeBron James explains the game better. He takes you inside. He breaks it down. His insight, he brings it to you in these interviews. And all of that is a testament to him.
When you watch a player accomplish what he's accomplished, the professionalism, the durability, the versatility, to be all-time in points and top 5 in assists, that's virtually unheard of. And so I want to make sure I pay testament to his all-time greatness. When we start talking about the best scorers of all time, let's remember there are people like Wilt Chamberlain that average 50 points in a season. There are people like Michael Jordan that have 10 scoring titles. And we start talking about the all-time greatest players of all time. Yes, I'm going to acknowledge LeBron needs to be in that conversation. But when we bring up 4-time champion and 4-time MVP, I want to remind people that's less than Kareem, Russell, what they've accomplished.
Kobe, Magic.
It truly is. And so, again, I want to give him the testament to his greatness, but for him to acknowledge a past first player has the all-time scoring record is just remarkable, and I salute him.
LeBron even has appreciated this much about himself. As much as we can dissect and be critical of the game in the moment as we watch stuff, is very little you have an excuse to say about him, because when you ask him a question, to point to Wilbon's point, he will answer and explain to you what it is. And so what happens is that he's one of those rare athletes that literally have a justification to be upset with you, because he sits in front of the microphone. When do you see him avoid post-game interviews? Almost never. He goes to the front of the microphone and he will explain to you in detail what you think you were watching, but you may not have seen.
I want to put a PS on this. So the night that in San Antonio in the finals, where LeBron had the cramping and that, and I think it was game 1.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that night, we had a sit-down interview scheduled for the next day. And I remember calling the Heat to say, is LeBron going to do this? Is he going to do this? Because I know what I would want to do. I would say, no, wait a minute, I had a bad night. I don't need to come in. Yeah. And LeBron said, of course, what are you talking about?
That's right.
And he came and we sat and talked about that and 50 other things in a half an hour the next day.
Yeah.
And this is important. At a time where people don't want to play every night, don't want to answer, as Stephen A. said, the bell every night, the responsibility of being great. LeBron James does that unfailingly. And I think that people need to look at that instead of isolating on any one thing in his career.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and push the hit button.